Hey guys, good evening. So this is Dan from Trading with Dan, and this is your crypto DMT and Dominator indicator update for the 15-minute time frame. So right, first over to the Bitcoin chart. So you can see the 15-minute DMT is still in a downtrend, still in a sell. So we need a break above this line here before we'll get a buy. You can see we made a push up here towards it. But one, we didn't get to the line, and then two, we didn't close and then open a candle above the line, so we didn't really get close to a trade being triggered at all there. And as you can see, that was a bull trap, like a shorter time frame bull trap, and then we continued on lower after that. You can see we've had a dip down to 8,400 here, so that is a new recent low for us. Some more people obviously had their orders in at 8,400, so bought it straight back up $100. But yeah, this could potentially be the first test under there. This 8,500 area could very likely become resistance now. We may test a bit lower, test up again to 8,500, and then continue our merry way down to low 8,000s, and then we'll see what happens from there, see how price reacts to that level going forwards. Yep, so 50-minute DMT. So when we're still in the sell, we can look for the 15-minute Dominator to tell us when to re-enter a short. So we don't necessarily want to be looking for the buys. If we are looking for buys, it's only on the 25-minute time frame for Dominator if we're in a bear trend. But we can be looking for sells, resells, basically re-shorting when we flick over to the sell on the 15-minute Dominator whilst we're still in a DMT bear trend. So that would have been here. So that would have got you short around 8,700. And yeah, I mean, obviously we did that after that fake out back up. But yeah, you'll be running your risk management, running your trading, take profits, and etc. So you probably actually did make, depending on how loosely you were trading it, whether you're going for a bigger move or just whatever sort of move you're looking for, that would have got you a good move from, let's say, well, that would have been a 3.47. So you could easily have got a 3% profit out of that, 3% move in Bitcoin. Then obviously you profit depending on what leverage you used. Yep. So, and then again, we did have another similar sell like that. So we had a sell at this level here with the 15-minute Dominator turning back to sell whilst we're still in a 15-minute DMT bearish trend, and then that would have got you from around, anyway, let's say we'll say in the middle of that candle, potentially would have got you pretty quickly. Well, you could have got a maxed out at 4%, but obviously we understand people don't get the actual low of the top of the money they could have made, or the low of that move. So, but yeah, good for 4%. You could have got out of that. And then yeah, so again, the last one was this little one here. So in this 15-minute DMT bear trend still, we flicked over to a buy, and then you could have then got the selling, re-shorting here, re-shorting around that level. And as you can see, I mean, it just all depends how long you want to run these trades for. But if you were just leaving some of them going, taking partial profit and then running the trade, then re-entering the rest of it and then taking partial profit, you can see you'll be working a good profit just by operating these two indicators together on the 15-minute time frame. So yeah, so that just shows to the efficacy of that trading strategy. So over to the 25-minute Dominator. So this is the one that you would potentially, if you wanted to, attempt take a stab at a long trade, thinking that we're going to reverse out of this 15-minute DMT trend. Obviously this is the 25-minute DMT because we're on the 25-minute chart, but obviously you guys know we hadn't broken the 15 one. So whilst we're still in the 15-minute DMT sell, you could potentially be looking to take a buy on this level here, but then obviously that does fail, and then potentially trying to take a buy on here, but again that does fail. It may be worth you looking into, if you wanted to operate that sort of strategy, is maybe look over to like a higher time frame again. So let's say an hour time frame, or maybe even a 2 hour, whichever one you want to do. But you could maybe say to yourself, well, if I'm in a 1 hour sell trade, 1 hour sell trend still, maybe I don't want to be taking even 25-minute Dominator buys, not when we're in such a strong trending market. So that's how I would be looking at that at the moment. So So yep, so over to the Ethereum 15 minute. You guys know obviously that I am not trading the Ethereum 15 minutes DMT due to the volatility of Ethereum. But what you could be doing though was you could still be trading it based on the Dominator when you're still under the DMT line. So the last few signals you would have got to resell would have been around this level here, which obviously was a great sell, and then around this level here which was a good sell, and then we'd actually have a little sell here. But you will notice as the size of these waves comes down, you kind of what that indicates is that we're currently in more of a chop trend, more of a chop area. So you may or may not want to take the trade, but if you took the sell again, you can see we did come down a bit, but obviously we did spike up again, and then we had another sell on this candle here. But you can see the market is pretty indecisive around this range. We've not got any bigger trending moves. So you might think, well, is it worth taking that trade? Over the 25 minute Dominator, we actually had a buy trade around here. So whether you did want to take this or not, because this is the indicator that we are going to use to trade Ethereum, is the Dominator. So if you obviously, as long as you had your trading take profit and your stops in place, you could realistically have got a very good profit, because whilst that doesn't look like a big move, just that part of the trend was a 4% move in Ethereum. So this is how we can see how volatile Ethereum is compared to Bitcoin. I mean, just this move up to there is a 13% move. So yeah, so something for you guys to consider. And then you had the sell trade here, where you could definitely be looking to reshort, knowing that we are still in an overall bear trend. But that you'd have to have had, obviously, again, I mean, we operate the bots, we're trading take profits and trading stops for this. So I mean, whilst you would have got down to a 2.85%, you could be running a trading take profit that kicks in around the 2% level. And then we had a buy here, and this would not have been a good trade. But that you have to decide whether you are taking the long trades or not, because I mean, realistically, you might just be looking for the shorter ones. Obviously this one here, you may definitely be looking to take more so, but it's just based on the how much we had moved down over that period. You could expect maybe some sort of more of a higher retrace, maybe to the midpoint, which we didn't get, but you still could have locked in some profit there. And then again, the buy here, which wouldn't necessarily have been a great buy, and then the sell here, which you couldn't be on side for, but you would have gone offside a couple of times, onside, offside, onside, offside, onside. But it is looking to break down from this point. So yeah, definite sort of descending triangle pattern forming there. Right, so yeah, so looking at the bigger time frame, before we'll look for Bitcoin, 4-hour time frame, you can see whilst ever you hang around at lows and whilst ever you hang around at highs, you sort of do expect the higher probability move to be carrying on with the trend. So you would be expecting statistically for this to be carry on moving down. I mean, there is a reason why there is an adage in trading, that the trend is your friend, because the trend is your friend, obviously, until the end. But there's nothing to say. You just always have to work on the assumption you're not at the end, and then keep trading, unless you have some, you have like a blow off top, or like a very high volume large candle dump with a retrace. I mean, you can then look to those as reversals, or even bearish or bullish divergences on higher time frames, especially daily. They can lend themselves to good higher probability plays on a reversal. But playing reversals though, it is overall a dangerous game, and you are better off just going with the trend. But yeah, so the 4-hour chart, you can see what's going on here. I wouldn't be surprised though, having said this, is if we do have a few wicks down and we do break Hawaii maybe back up over 9,000, and actually look to produce a head and shoulder of sorts, and then on our next move down to this level, then I would expect it to quite possibly get taken out. These are scenarios. I mean, there is nothing to say we can't go straight down from here, but we have had no significant retrace in this move yet so far. And I mean, markets just do move like this. So far it's just been like this. This is very crude analysis, by the way. So you would maybe expect a bit of a move up and before a move down, or even a move up, a move down and then up. But either way, we are looking like we could be getting a move up here. But like I said, the trend is your friend. So unless it was a move significantly higher than 10k to break, well, that actually even on this 4-hour time chart would break the 4-hour DMT. So that's obviously a larger time frame, DMT compared to the 15 minutes. You can see that would put us in a bull trend. It would have broken these highs here. Yeah, resumed us back in an uptrend. So yeah, that would be obviously be a big bounce, but you can see any point before that as a point of failure, especially I would say this level here. So I mean, what I would really like to see next week, what I would like to see in those sort of ideal trading scenarios is for us to get the 15-minute DMT buy, possibly run up to around maybe even this 9,500 level, maybe a wick up, consolidate around there, turn back down, hit the 15-minute sell, and then yeah, and then, well, not that I do want Bitcoin to go down, but I just mean chart pattern wise, what would look logical, what would be an easier pattern to trade, and then obviously resuming down. Yeah, so just to clarify, I don't want Bitcoin to go down just because I hate Bitcoin. It's just that would be an easier chart pattern to trade, in my opinion, and a fully yeah, and a sort of a chart pattern that I'd have more confidence trading, and therefore have a higher likelihood of being able to make money from if that one did play out. So yeah, so hopefully we'll get something like that play out. But we will see. Next week is going to be a big week for stock markets. Stock markets made a miraculous recovery in the last 15 minutes of trading on Friday. So no doubt that was the plunge protection team, and the Fed rate cut hopefuls, hoping that the market can, hoping that the Fed will step in. But there's always, you've got to remember, it's like a game of chicken with these markets. These markets want to force the Fed into action by going down, but if they then anticipate that the Fed has been forced into action, they will then rally, which will then result in the Fed not being so trigger happy with its actions. So you can see the quandary that the markets are currently in. So we will see what happens. I mean, if there are no real signals, other than obviously Jerome Powell has said that they will do whatever to support the market and the economy, other than obviously them saying that, they've not actually done anything as of yet. So not scheduled any earlier meetings or anything. So the markets may just have another fit lower, maybe around to the mid 2,700s, to fully force the issue. Because I do believe if we start selling off in the first 2 days of this coming week, so say Monday, Tuesday, and we do take out the lows of last week, and then get that and have just basically another leg down, another couple of down days like we had last week, I feel that the Fed will then, the Fed will capitulate and the Fed will come out with emergency rate cuts, because that will be painting a very, very bearish picture, and we'll be heading towards, if that happens, towards the 20% level, where that basically people will say signals an entry into a bear market. So yeah, so we'll see what happens. But so yeah, so all I can say, guys, it's going to be a very interesting trading week. If we were just looking at factors influencing the market that were purely a financial impacts, like say like the great financial crisis of 2008, where obviously the banks had been doing whatever they'd been recklessly doing, and it could all be solved with print of extra money to recapitalize them all. That is one thing. But if we have something actually in the physical world rather than the pretend digits on the screen financial world, things in the real world are obviously different. They are more real. They have full-on impacts on people. I mean, a lot of people that are interested in this sort of stuff that I spoke to this weekend, they don't really even know what the stock market has done. So, but they all do know about other things that are going on in the world that I don't want to mention by actual name, because YT does not like that. But yeah, so those sorts of things are going to have impacts, and I do think that it is gonna, people are gonna in areas are going to be staying at home. They're going to be not going to work. They're going to be having to look after their kids. They're not going to be traveling. They're not going to be spending. They're not going to be doing this and that and the other. So I do think that it isn't just suddenly going to turn around on its head like it did in the last 15 minutes of manipulated trading on Friday. So that being said, that obviously leads to lower prices in equities, and then therefore you would assume in Bitcoin. I mean, this I am very worried for Bitcoin and global stock markets and just general world trade at the moment. I do think people have this mindset to not bet against the Fed. The Fed can always come in and save the markets. Markets always go up. You always buy the dip. And things are always the case until they're not. So that's just how the world is. So yeah, so it will be an interesting week. I do worry for the stock markets, because I just don't think things are just going to carry on as normal whilst we still have something that is spreading around the world that hasn't like fully spread in lots of areas. So one can only assume that those areas have it yet to come. So, and then we just don't know about mutations in it, and also what sort of secondary infections and things that can happen from it. So there's lots and lots of unknowns, lots of risks, and that is the main thing that markets hate. Markets hate uncertainty, and in my mind, and I'm sure I have a rational mind, there is a lot of uncertainty. Oh, we're having a bit of a spike up in Bitcoin here at the moment. Sorry, we're on a 4-hour chart. We'll go to a 15-minute chart. You'll be able to see. So a little bear trap. Sorry, bull trap and bear trap. So this is just textbook Bitcoin for you. Yeah. So yeah, I've rambled on again a bit then. I do love to have my rambling on. At least you guys sort of know I do the actual, just go over the charts at the start of the video. So as soon as your eyes start to glaze over and you hear me just talking my general spiel, you know that you can then just stop the video because the chart bit's done. But if you do want to listen, then that's fine. But yeah, so thanks for listening, guys, for you guys that are still here. So remember, this is not a financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, consult a financial advisor before taking any risky trades or investments. And yeah, with that being said, I'm going to end this video, and yeah, I hope you guys all had a great weekend, and I will no doubt be speaking to you guys a lot next week, because I think next week is going to be wild in the markets. Wild basically. We're going to have volatility is back, so even if the markets go nowhere, you will still expect big swings above and below that nowhere that we're going. But we'll see whether we just get one directional volatility. Right, yeah, so thanks for listening, guys. And yeah, so and in this video I will end this video now, and I will speak to you guys tomorrow.